You've seen me review 20 kits at a time, you know, home, away, and third, but I'm going to be reviewing 92 kits in one video. Yes, today we are ranking the 92 home kits for the 24-25 football season. We start at the rock bottom of League 2 and work our way up to the high echelons at the top of the Premier League. Now, it has taken me a long time to rank all of these shirts as there are 92 to compare against one another, but I'm pretty happy with the list I've made. But if you think a kit deserves to be higher or lower, please let me know in the comments below. Comment your favourite kit and your least favourite. I'd be very interested to see what people's thoughts are. Without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. We're going to start at the very bottom in 92nd place, and that's MK Dons. Boring and bland. It's just a plain white shirt with very little use of other colours. There's a little bit of gold on there, but that doesn't really do much for the shirt. The massive red and blue sponsor looks awful, but the actual sponsor itself isn't that bad. It's just very, very big and very, very bold. Yeah, it's just a very boring shirt, really. And they are MK Dons. That's also important. And in 91st place, I've got Leicester City. It's well known at this point that I do not like this Leicester kit. It's higher than MK's kit though, as it does have that graphic around the sides and the back of the shirt, which is okay. It saves it very slightly, and I think with a different sponsor it could have been a bit better. Yeah, it is just a terrible sponsor, one of the worst in fact. And in 90th place I've got Cardiff City. This shirt celebrates the club's 125th anniversary, but I don't think it looks that good. It features a retro crest that was used between 1969 and 1980, and also features the chevron pattern of the original club name, Riverside AFC. I don't mind a retro throwback kit, I'm actually quite a big fan, but I don't think it was executed that well. And it's also not a great sponsor either, but the colours of the sponsor do work, but it's just some block text. What's going on? Put some effort in at least. And then in 89th place, I've got Manchester United. This kit incorporates a gradient design down the back and front of the shirt, but other than that, it's just another plain kit. I think the sponsor is a slight improvement off last season's, but the shirt's main design is a massive, massive downgrade. Zero effort was put into this design. Like, they just slapped a gradient on it and called it a day. What's going on? I could have done a better job, and I hate United. And in 88th place, I've got QPR. Probably the shirt with the most design to feature at this point, but it just doesn't look that good. The shirt features their classic hoops, with 3 shades of blue within each hoop, as well as on the cuffs as well. That sponsor though, is very bad. Honestly, it's almost up with Leicester to be fair. What on earth is this? It's not as bad as Leicester's, but it is getting up there. And in 87th place, we've got Salford. Salford are here with an Adidas template. That's it. It's an unchanged template. It's the Adidas Tiro 24 competition training jersey to be exact. Yes, it's a shirt that many clubs are using for their training tops as their first team shirt. What's going on there? Normally, this would be even closer to the bottom than it already is, but the sponsor is doing much of the heavy lifting. Really big fan of that. Not a big fan of the rest of the shirt though. And in 86th place, I've got Northampton Town. The templates continue with the shoe army and this Puma number. The shirt does feature some nice design elements on the cuffs and the collar, but as far as I can tell, they don't really represent anything in particular. Other than that though, it's a very plain shirt, but you know, it does the job. It does the job. And in 85th place, I've got Blackpool. Another Puma template, this time for the tangerines. And much like the previous shirt, it is very plain, save for some design on the cuffs and the collar. And again, much like previous shirts, it doesn't look like there's anything specific behind the design. You can't really go wrong with tangerine and white though, so it's a little bit higher. And then in 84th place, I've got Stockport County. Stockport are back in League 1 after over a decade and have marked their return with a Puma template. Getting some deja vu here. This is the nicest of the 3 we've seen so far. It's a lovely royal blue kit with some design on the cuffs and collar. Again, don't think the pattern represents much, but it's a nice pattern of the 3. Other than that though, it's just a very plain shirt at the end of the day, so I can't give it much higher. And in 83rd place, I've got Rotherham United. It's another Puma template, but this time I can see some reasoning behind the collar and cuff designs. It's very much the same template as the previous 3, but this time the sleeves are a different colour. What the hell, guys? The cuff and collar features an X design, which looks to have been lifted from their badge. I like that, but then again, very plain. But would also work as an Ajax kit, I think. It sort of works. And then in 82nd place, I've got Leeds United. Taking a break from the Puma templates, we take a look at another Adidas shirt, a very plain Adidas shirt. The white and blue colour scheme with very little use of yellow is nice, but that sponsor is a strange one. Red Bull. The yellow for the sponsor actually works quite well with the design of the shirt, but there's just a bit too much red for a Leeds kit. You know, they hate United. Why would they want red on their shirt? It's an okay kit in all, you know, it's just a plain Adidas template with a Red Bull sponsor. So it's okay, but their away shirt is much, much clearer. Honestly, some of these kit manufacturers are very lazy. I could do better. And in 81st place, I've got Aston Villa. It's another Adidas shirt, but this one is better than the previous one. It's a claret and blue Villa shirt, and what more do you need? There is a nice bit of design on the collar, harkening back to the early 80s, but that is the best part of the kit, really. Other than that, it's just a very plain shirt and a terrible sponsor. What can you do? And then in 80th place, I've got Bromley. This is the first time Bromley have ever competed in the Football League, but the kit leaves a lot to be desired in my opinion. It's a largely plain white kit, but does feature a faint half-tone diagonal stripe across the body, which is interesting. Very hard to see unless you're up close, but it's there and it's appreciated. There's also some nice collar and cuff details as well. Welcome to the EFL Bromley, hope you're here a while. And then 79th place, I've got Swindon Town. Swindon have returned to Adidas after over a decade away and have been given what looks like the Campion 23 template in the red of Swindon Town, so that's decent at least. It's a decent template, but is a far cry from the seemingly bespoke designs they've been getting from Puma last season, which is very strange, but here we are. It looks alright though, but at the end of the day, it is just a template with a badge, so you can't really say much about that, to be fair. And then in 78th place, we've got Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough are doing Middlesbrough things with their classic red and white design. However, this is a slightly unique take on the white band. This time it carries over to the sleeves as well. And it also includes the borrow and area badge within, which is the first time we've seen this in quite a while, or maybe ever if I'm not mistaken, I can't quite remember, but it's not something we see often. Not a great sponsor though. It's very Middlesbrough, but it's very bad. And in 77th place, I've got Newport County. Our first and only VX3 shirt, and this is for Pure Vans. I mean Newport County. Sorry, that sponsor is fucking huge though. Looking at things, it just looks like a plain yellow and black shirt, but there are some very subtle designs within which do elevate it slightly. Again though, sponsor is massive and does majorly detract from the kit. Why is it so big? That's my main question. And in 76th place, I've got Manchester City. Okay, and we swiftly move back to Puma and Manchester City. It's very much similar to the other Puma kits we've looked at so far, but with a few bespoke design elements, given they are Manchester City. I do like the 0161 design, but the rest of the kit is too plain for my liking, but the pan's nice, so I'll give them that. And in 75th place, I've got Stevenage. I'm not too sure what Macron thought they were doing with this kit, not sure what they were cooking, but it wasn't anything good. Sorry lads. I don't actually mind the zigzag red element, and I think it works quite well with the shorts. I'm not really a fan of the design they've used within those white elements of the kit. It just doesn't look that good, and I think if the shirt, or if the white elements were plain, could have been a bit better. The sponsor also isn't brilliant either, just a fucking red box. Terrible. And then in 74th place, I've got Accrington Stanley. The Accrington Stanley home shirt commemorates the Accrington Pels, a battalion raised during the First World War. The shirt depicts the Pels marching to battle, which can be plainly seen at the top of the kit. And you know what? That's a great thing to base the shirt off as well. I'm sure the poppy kit goes even harder. Not too sure about the darker red element though, but other than that, it's an okay looking shirt. No complaints from me. And in 73rd place, I've got Crawley Town. There's a lot going on here with this Crawley Town shirt. The shirt features a design across the kit made from the trident found in their badge, with some added lines throughout. It's not a bad design by any stretch of the imagination, but it does make the kit look quite busy. The sponsor also isn't great. It's nothing offensive unless you're a rodent. Also, they've got a Lego head sponsor on their shoulder, which is pretty funny. So, you know, get marks from me for that. And then in 72nd place, I've got Swansea City. This is the first German kit this season, but on the face of it, it's just a very plain shirt. However, if you take a closer look, we can see the sublimated wave ripple pattern across the shirt, which I think is quite nice. There are some lovely black, orange, white, green piping on the collar and the sleeve cuffs, as well as down the side of the shirt as well, which I do like. But the massive orange sponsor does detract points once again. But it's not a bang sponsor, so there is that. The colour does kind of match though, so it's not too bad. But again, It's a bit leery, we'll say that. And then in 71st place, I've got Exeter City. Exeter City are rocking the same kit they had last season, and it's just your average, basic red and white striped kit with a bit of black thrown in as well. It's not a bad shirt, but as I've said, it's just very basic. The sponsor isn't great, and I've no idea what they do, but they're not a better sponsor, so that's all good. And they've also not split the stripes with the sponsor, which is also nice to see as well. And in 70th place, I've got Cheltenham Town, as we follow up one red and white striped kit with another one, also with some black thrown in. Unlike Exeter though, their stripes have been split by the sponsor. Not a bad sponsor, but I think it looked better in red. Or I don't know, just a decent shirt. And in 69th place, we've got Preston North End. It's a mostly white shirt, as you'd expect from Preston, but this time features a very faint blue sash across the body of the shirt. Other than that though, it's just a mostly plain white kit that features some navy cuffs with some white stripes on them. The colour match sponsor is okay, but overall the shirt isn't great. It's just nice. And in 68th place, I've got Hull City. Hull City are Kappa's only offering this season, and it's just your classic black and amber stripes. It is the club's 120th anniversary, and it's a shame more wasn't done for the anniversary kit, but much like the other striped shirts we've seen so far, it's just decent. The sponsor is okay, but not really the biggest fan of it, and overall, like I said, just a plain kit. I feel like a bit more could have been done as it's an anniversary shirt, but hey, here we are. And then we move from Kappa's only EFL offering to Kelm's with Watford. It's a yellow shirt that features a sublimated zigzag design throughout the kit, and it also features some lovely black and red alternating pink stripes across the body of the shirt. The sponsor is a massive detracting factor though. I do not like that. Why is it so big, and why is it so shit? And to be honest, it ruins what was otherwise quite a nice shirt. I'm a big fan of the alternating colours pinstripes. It's a design element I've used when making kits myself, and I just think it's a very solid shirt with that little zigzag design as well to add a bit more design to the shirt. Very, very sad to see the massive fuck off sponsor ruin this kit. Any other sponsor or sponsorless could be a lot better. And then in 66th place, I've got Wycombe Wanderers. I'm not really sure what to say here. It's just a Wycombe shirt, this time made by Hummel and carried over from last season. The shirt is flipped from the one they had previously, so the colours have swapped around. It's just a very plain shirt that features their classic quarter design with not much else being done to it. It's just okay. It's just an okay shirt. And then in 65th place, I've got Burnley. This kit is a bit of a mess and a massive downgrade from last season. It's the Claret's first kit under Castor, and it's not great. My apologies, lads. The shirt features an abstract long side graphic across the front of the shirt, which references their iconic long side stand. You can't really tell though, and that sponsor is also dreadful. If you look at their kit from last season, which was beautiful, to their kit this season, it is a huge downgrade, both in manufacturer and just design in general. And then in 64th place, I've got Barrow. Barrow have been given a bespoke design from Puma with this very interesting sponsor as well. It's a plain white shirt that features a pattern across the body that utilises the submarines from the Barrow badge, which is a nice design choice. Imagine if it was blue and the subs were white or black, it could look like the submarines were swimming across the shirt, but hey, that's just me. The sponsor is a bit strange, and the red from the maple leaf does detract some points from the shirt where there is no more red, but other than that, it's alright. I don't mind it. And in 63rd place, I've got Lincoln City. Lincoln City have returned to their badge from the 80s, which, in my opinion, is a vast improvement over the other one. The kit is a red body with some white pinstripes, whilst the sleeves are white with red pinstripes. Not too shabby if you ask me. But for some reason there's some fleur-de-lis detailing on the underarms and on the sides of the kit. Not sure what that's about, but it looks alright. Not a fan of that sponsor though. Don't know what it is about it, just don't really like it. And in 62nd place, I've got Derby County. Now, go back to Puma for their first effort on a Derby County shirt in over 2 decades. And as much as I don't like the sheep, it's a very solid effort, I must admit. Much like the previous Puma kits that are lower down in this ranking, this one is solid. It's a cuff and collar design that features a swirl pattern that resembles the ram's horns from their badge, and that's really the only reason it's so high. I don't even think they're based off of that, but because they look like it, I'm okay with it. And I think the design works well. Decent. And in 61st place, we've got Harrogate Town. And they've done it! Let's go! Harrogate Town have finally gotten rid of that awful Strata sponsor. Oh my god, the red box is finally gone. But Stevenage have now got one, so, you know, we can't win them all. And you know what? Without that big red box slapped on the shirt, it looks so much better. It's a yellow and black striped number with some grey design featured within those black stripes. I'm not exactly sure what the design is supposed to represent, but it looks nice. I'm okay with it. All in all, it's a solid kit and some very decent design, but thank God for that new sponsor, man. Thank the Lord. And in 60th place, I've got Arsenal. Back to the Premier League now, and it's been quite the fall off for Arsenal. Their two previous kits were leagues above this number from Adidas. There's just not enough red on it for me. For an Arsenal shirt, there's just too much white on this design, who, you should know, are their arch rivals, which is very strange. I do like the addition of blue though, and using the cannon motif as the badge is also a very nice touch. But other than that, not enough red, and just a very plain shirt. Can't rate it higher. And then in 59th place, I've got Doncaster Rovers. Oxen are back, and this time they're outfitting Doncaster Rovers. But I can't really say I'm the biggest fan. It's another classic red and white hooped design for Donny, with each hoop flanked by black stripes. It's an alright design, but again, the sponsor's bad. Even a little bit of colour matching on the sponsor would have helped, but they couldn't even do that. And then in 58th place, I've got Southampton. From red and white hoops to red and white stripes, we have Southampton. Now this shirt is very similar to those red and white striped kits I've ranked lower, but I've moved it up a few marks here because of the dazzle camo design found on the back of the kit. If they used that design on the front, it'd have looked much better. Really bad sponsor though. And in 52nd place, I've got Oxford United. Oxford United are back in the Championship after a 25-year absence, and they've returned in very bright fashion. The main design of the kit features a retro geometric pattern in various shades of yellow that loosely resembles the iconic Ipswich template, but without being the Ipswich template and not having any of that magic that surrounds that template. Personally, it's just too yellow for me. A bit more navy wouldn't have gone amiss. Then in 56th place, we move on to Peterborough United. Puma are back once again, and this time it's their effort for Peterborough. The main design in the body of the shirt depicts a map of the city, which I think is a very nice design idea, but I feel like the execution doesn't really look that great. Wearing your city with pride is a brilliant idea, but I do feel that it could have been done a little bit better. I'm not sure how, but it just could have been done better. Trust me, bro. And in 55th place, I've got Brentford. Brentford have carried over their home shirt from last year, and it's not that bad of a kit to be fair. It's the classic red and white stripes of Brentford combined with a black gradient as well as a few further black elements on the sleeves. It's an alright shirt, and I do like the thicker stripes, but when looking at the kit in full, the black look can be a bit overpowering. But decent shirt all in all. And in 54th place, I've got Leyton Orient. Leyton Orient's newest kit is a callback to some of their earliest kit designs, bringing back those classic braces, which we do not see more than enough this time around. I can't remember the last time I've seen a kit with braces. Bring them back, lads. The shirt also features a hexagonal design throughout the body of the shirt, to add a bit more design to the kit. However, I'm not really the biggest fan of the shirt design though. I feel like it could have been better if the logos were centralised, like on those original shirts. The sponsor also isn't brilliant either. There's a lot of room for improvement, but it's a decent kit. Moving on to 53rd place, and I've got Burton Albion. And now we have Tag's only effort in the EFL, and that's with Burton Albion. It's a largely yellow shirt with black pinstripes and a black collar and cuffs. And that's all it is, quite a basic shirt. But it works well. There are various breaks in the lines for the various sponsors, but all in all, it's a decent kit with a very solid colour scheme. Black and yellow, you can't really go wrong. And then in 52nd place, I've got Charlton Athletic. We're back to Castor with Charlton Athletic, and this shirt is inspired by the club's centenary shirt from the 04-05 season. The shape of the sword from the crest is taken to create a subtle print design, which I think looks pretty decent to be fair, and it's better than a lot of efforts we've seen from Castor so far. The sponsor is very big though, and just why? Why is it so big? What's going on? And then in 51st place, I've got Portsmouth. The first night kit appearing on this list, and it's their effort with Pompey. It's a blue shirt with some darker blue pinstripes that takes some design cues from classic Pompey shirts. At the end of the day though, it is just a night template, and because of that, it looks quite plain and quite boring. And the badge isn't even aligned to the stripe. What's going on? That's like a slam dunk. You've got pointed edges on your badge. Look, pointed edges on the badge. Just line them up with the line. Please. I'm begging you. Please, align your logos with your lines. Come on guys, it's basic design. And in 50th place, I've got Ipswich Town. This is Umbro's first this year, and it's an Ipswich effort. It's a blue shirt with some white pinstripes across the body of the shirt. It's the first appearance of pinstripes in nearly a decade for Ipswich, and it looks alright. It's a very decent shirt overall, but the sleeves just feel too plain. Give them a few stripes as a little treat, you know, something more than just plain blue. And then in 49th place, I've got Plymouth Argyle. Plymouth Argyle have been outfitted by Puma this season, and it's a retro-inspired number. The diamond design across the body of the shirt is inspired by a pattern Plymouth used back in the 1990s. It's a very decent looking shirt, but the pattern leaves a lot to be desired. Could have been done better, I feel. And then in 48th place, I've got Colchester United. Macron continue their cook sesh, this time with Colchester United. It's a classic blue and white striped shirt for Colchester that makes use of two thick blue stripes that contain a thinner, darker blue stripe throughout each of them. It creates a very clean looking shirt. The sponsor is very interesting. Like, what is a hot lizard? I have no idea, and looks very out of place, but it did give me a chuckle, so bonus points for that. And in 47th place, I've got Chesterfield. It's back to Puma, and they've given Chesterfield their very own bespoke kit for their return to the EFL. It's a classic Chesterfield blue with some darker blue pinstripes across the body of the shirt. Across those stripes is a very long diamond with a retro Chesterfield badge in the centre. Very, very solid shirt, and crazy to see a bespoke designed kit down in League 2, but it looks bloody phenomenal. Fair play. And in 46th place, I've got Shrewsbury Town. It's another Oxen shirt, and this time it's the turn of Shrewsbury Town. It sees return to the iconic blue and amber stripes that have outfitted Shrewsbury for years, and Oxen have executed it well. It's just some basic stripes, but the whole composition of the shirt looks really quite nice. I'm a big fan of the collar and the cuffs as well, which really top off the kit. Very solid from the sallops, and I just love saying salop. Salop. And then in 45th place, we're at Barnsley. Moving on to Barnsley now, and they've moved on from that horror show of a kit that was last season's home shirt. This kit does share some similar design cues, but looks far much better than whatever that was. It keeps the stars, but alters them to symbolise the club's historic 21-game unbeaten run in 1934. It's a very red shirt, and I feel like it could use a bit more white, but other than that, it's a very decent kit for the Tykes. No complaints from me. And then in 44th place, I've got Walsall. And we're back to Macron and their effort with Walsall. And you know what? It's not terrible. It's a modern shirt with a lovely retro feel to it. It's inspired by the club's kit from the 94-95 season. And that's a red kit with thin black stripes and some even thinner white ones. The only issue I have with the kit is the Poundland sponsor. If they colour matched it though, it would have looked much better. Very solid effort, but Poundland needs to be within these colours. I don't hate the sponsor, I don't hate Poundland. I just think it could look better. That's all I'm saying, guys. Don't shoot me, please. Please. I like Poundland, okay? And then in 43rd place, we've got Mansfield Town. On to Mansfield now, and their effort from Castor. This is the first Mansfield Town shirt to have stripes in over a decade, reintroduced as a nod to the heritage and DNA of the club. Amber and yellow stripes adorn the kit with blue accents for the collar and part of the badge. It needs a bit more blue in my opinion. Other than that, it's a very solid kit. And then in 42nd place, we've got Crew Alexandra. A unique one now with FTB's only EFL entry. It's a red patterned shirt with a black and white trim and has some white detailing on the crest and logos. It's a very nice geometric design that adorns the shirt and gives the kit a nice visual appearance. It's a very solid shirt all in all. And in 41st place, we've got Morecambe. We continue with another unique kit as we see Terrace with their Morecambe effort. It's a red number with a striking dark red pattern all over the kit. The cuffs and a complementing collar top the kit off. It's a very interesting collar design, but I kind of rate it to be honest. The sponsor doesn't look brilliant, but it's not a betting sponsor, so I don't hate it. And then in 40th place, I've got Everton. It's Everton's first kit from Castor, and the design of the shirt is pretty decent. The body of the shirt features an abstract version of Everton's crest from the 1920s, mixed in with the letters EFC. The collar is a classic look, somewhat resembling the 95-97 home shirt. It's a pretty decent looking shirt, but I just can't back a stake sponsor. First on football kits, and now all over football Twitter as well. Please just make it end. I hope they go bankrupt, I'm not going to lie. Nothing good has come from stake. Prove me wrong. And in 39th place, I've got Chelsea. Only the second Nike entry so far, and it's the controversial Chelsea home shirt. And you know what? It's grown on me recently, to be honest. This design is inspired by that fire that burns inside every blue. Okay, the wavy design across the shirt doesn't look too bad, but it doesn't really look fire in my opinion. It looks more like a liquid. The Chelsea and Nike logos have this interesting 3D effect, which is quite odd, but you know, it's okay. I also feel there is too much blue on the shirt it could do with a bit more white and a little bit of more orange. But it's not been ruined by a sponsor yet, so there is that. And in 38th place, I've got Luton Town. Luton have carried over their shirt from last season, but it's a very solid design, so you can't really fault them. It's a largely orange shirt with a discreet sublimated diamond pattern woven into the fabric. It's a modernised version of their 74-75 home shirt, and it is good with that white stripe down the right hand side of the kit. The sublimated pattern really boosts the shirt's rankings. Love out like that, me. Looks lovely. And the sponsor ain't even that bad either. And in 37th place, I've got Norwich City. The second and last German kit this season, this time for Norwich. It's a yellow shirt with a curved check pattern that fades in from the bottom. Big fan of that design, I think it looks lovely. The green elements on the shirt are nice as well. Sponsor, could have been green though. It's not bad though, it doesn't look terrible, but just feel if the sponsor was green, it'd be much higher up. Or if it was Coleman's, you know, classic, bring that back. And then in 36th place, I've got Bournemouth. Bournemouth. This is a great example of how sponsors ruin shirts. This is a throwback to their 14-15 kit, in which the club were first promoted to the Premier League, and 10 years on, that's a nice throwback, and they're in the Premier League as well. The thick stripes with gold trim are phenomenal, but then that sponsor, my god, that sponsor is dreadful. And luckily, the Cherries offer a sponsors version, which is much better. Get them gone, man. I cannot wait till betting sponsors, dodgy crypto sponsors, get it all banned. Bring back your classics, you know. Bring back your alcohol, bring back your cigarettes, bring back your food sponsors. Utter woke nonsense. And in 35th place, I've got West Ham United. We're keeping with a Premier League theme here, as West Ham's Umbro number is okay. The shirt has a classic look, as inspired by the 1960s when they won the Cup Winners' Cup. They brought that design into the modern era, and it looks alright. It's the classic claret and blue colour scheme, which is complemented by the recolour West Ham badge. The sponsor isn't great, but much like Bournemouth, you can get it without a sponsor, so that's a big bonus. And then in 34th place, I've got Tottenham Hotspur. Nike shirt number 3 is their Tottenham effort. On the face of it, it has most of what I'd like from a Spurs shirt. They've used more navy. Let's go! The cuffs on the shirt give me retro vibes as well, which I do like. As with many Spurs shirts though, it is just very plain, but that does work well on this shirt to be fair. Once again, I must dock points for that sponsor. It's still in red. Why? Just tweak the hue a little bit. You're not going to lose advertisements because your sponsor is a different colour. It's still going to be visible on the white shirt and it'll look better. That's a match made in heaven. I don't know why they're so set on keeping it red. It doesn't matter. Your company's not built on the colour red like a football club is built on their colours. Fix it up. It's very easy. Look, I'll just do it here. Wow, that took me like 10 seconds. Come on now. And in 33rd place, I've got Coventry City. Only the second Hummel shirt so far, and this time is Coventry City's 24-25 shirt. It's inspired by the origins of the city of Coventry, and it features a modern interpretation of the Kofa tree on the front and back, which is how Coventry got its name. It creates a lovely looking sublimated pattern that makes for quite an understated design, but I like it. It's very solid. Bosh. And in 32nd place, I've got Birmingham City. Our 4th Nike entry, and it's another blue shirt. This time for the Blues. This is a proper solid kit. It's a royal blue base with white accents in the form of the collar, cuffs, side panels, and a chest band. The undefeated sponsor is colour matched perfectly, and altogether makes it a very solid and very cohesive design. Yes, it may be a largely plain shirt, but all the design elements work really well together. Gives it a nice classical feel. Bosh. I like it. And in 31st place, I've got Newcastle United. Newcastle are back with Adidas, and it's a classic but classy design, using their classic black and white stripes. The overall design calls back to the classic shirts from over 2 decades ago. It is quite the basic shirt, but it looks very classy, and the icon on the back of the kit is a very nice touch as well. Again, the sponsor isn't brilliant, but it's not a betting company, and the colours match, so that's good. All in all, very solid shirt. And then in 30th place, I've got Bristol City. This is O'Neill's only EFL offering, but it's a very solid offering at that. The Bristol City kit has a checkered design that is based on the flags found around Ashton Gate on a match day. The collar and cuffs also contain a white and red checkered design, which has definitely grown on me since I originally saw the kit. Very, very solid shirt. The collar and cuffs are doing some very heavy lifting, but all in all, it's solid. And then in 29th place, I've got Fleetwood Town. We move on to Fleetwood Town and their design from Puma. It keeps the colours of red and white with some darker red stripes across the body. These lines though are broken up by a pixelated pattern in the centre of the shirt, which gives a clear place for the sponsor. which is much better than cutting lines off. This is how you do it. You implement it into the design. You either fade them out or do here with a pixelated design. Solid. The sponsor isn't brilliant though, but it's not terrible either. So all in all, solid shirt from Fleetwood and Puma. And in 28th place, I've got Huddersfield Town. Back with Umbro now and their Huddersfield shirt. It pays homage to Huddersfield's textile heritage with a shirt featuring subtle pinstripes and a houndstooth detailing on the traditional blue and white stripes. It's a brilliant way to mix up your classic stripes, and they've done it well here. The club pays tribute to the centenary of their history, making 3 consecutive English League title triumphs of 1924 to 1926, with 2 stars in black, while the 3rd in silver to be celebrated soon. It's a very nice touch. And then in 27th place, I've got Wolves, and it's a newcomer, Sudo with Wolves. From afar, this does appear as quite a plain shirt, but getting closer you can see some very subtle embossed patterns, which is inspired by the Wolves crest. The Wolves crest is also centralised, which is a very nice touch, although it does look a little bit small, and Sudo missed a trick by not centralising their own logo, but I'm sure they'll learn as they make more kits. However, that sponsor does dock it points once again. But for Wolves, that's really par for the course at this point. They've not had a good sponsor in a long time. But very solid effort from the newcomers nonetheless. And then in 26th place, I've got Gillingham. Macron are back with Gillingham and this pretty understated number. It's the classic blue and white of the gills with some subtle sublimated blue stripes across the body. The cuffs boast a set of white and blue stripes of alternating thicknesses. They don't match the collar, but that's okay. The collar Macron opted to use still works well. Very solid kit all in all. And in 25th place, I've got Port Vale. Port Vale may not be a real place, but this shirt is a real cracker. Made by Puma, of course. It had to be Puma. It's very similar to those same Puma kits we've already looked at, but all of these elements just work really well together. The black collar and sleeve cuffs feature a design inspired by the Wedgwood Institute in Burnslem, where Port Vale are based. Not a fan of the sponsor, but it's not too offensive. I can live with it. All in all, a very decent shirt. And in 24th place, I've got Wrexham. Macron have cooked with Wrexham once again. The red shirt features an embossed dragon scales design with the Dragoch, or Welsh Red Dragon across the body. I'm a big fan of Wrexham implementing that design into their shirts, and this time is no different. It also features a retro style collar and some thick cuffs to tie the whole shirt together. This is solid. And in 23rd place, I've got Wigan Athletic. We're back to Puma now, and back to the centralised designs as we look at Wigan. It's the classic blue and white stripes on the front, with all the logos are centralised within that central blue stripe. Unfortunately, it didn't recolour the sponsor, so it does look a bit out of place, but other than that, it's alright, you know. It's a plain shirt, but the composition of the shirt is just wonderful. Very solid. And then in 22nd place, I've got Notts County. We're sticking with Puma and their centralised designs as we move southeast to Nottingham and Notts County. This is a very similar design to the Wigan shirt we've just looked at, but I think it looks even better. It takes the classic black and white stripes of Notts County, but gives them a gradient towards the top. The badge and logo are centralised in the centre stripe as well, which is lovely. The sponsor though, does majorly dock it points by being in red. I do like it though, it's a very solid shirt, and you can't go wrong with a bit of John Pye. And then in 21st place, I've got Bristol Rovers. Back to Bristol, and this time it's Bristol Rovers and their Macron design. It takes the club's famous blue and white quarters and adds a paint effect. And throughout those quarters are all the players who played for the club embossed into the shirt. It also features a monochrome badge that removes any of the yellow accent colours, which works really well for this shirt's design. Not a fan of that little red bit on the sponsor though. Could have just changed that. Was it really needed? I don't think so. And then move on to 20th place, Bolton Wanderers. We're going to stay with Macron as we move north to Bolton. This kit was largely decided by a fan vote, but the navy chest stripe was removed from the winning design to create this very clean looking shirt. It's a classic design utilising red, white and navy, with the club crest and Macron logo placed centrally. The front of the shirt has a subtle stripe design which also adds to the classic feel of this kit. The shirt's overall design though is dragged down by the sponsors, as their colours just do not work here. Unfortunately, it's a very nice kit, and you take away those sponsors or alter the elements to make the colours look better, you've got a very nice kit from Bolton and Macron here. Just a shame they couldn't do that. And then in 19th place, I've got Cambridge United. Moving on to Cambridge United and this very classy Umbro design. The shirt features that classic Umbro diamond jacquard pattern embedded within the orange fabric of the shirt. This kit also features a lovely classic style collar with 2 white stripes that also appear to be matching on the cuffs. The shirt is absolutely lovely until you get to that massive and horrific sponsor, which massively drags it down. You were so close to greatness. You just fucked it up with that terrible, terrible sponsor. My God. And in 18th place, I've got Nottingham Forest. Moving back to Adidas now, and they're designed for my beloved Nottingham Forest, in case you couldn't tell. The main feature of the shirt is the graphic design across the main body of the kit, which I think is nice. It's a subtle striping pattern that makes up 2 overlapping stars, representing our 2 European Cups. Solid. In my opinion, it could use a little bit more white on the shirt, but it's still a very solid design, and I thank the stars. Adidas gave us something bespoke, and I love it. Again, the sponsor does dock it points, but at least the colour works with the rest of the shirt. Plus, Chris Wood wears it, so that's always a dub. And then in 17th place, I've got Fulham. We're going to stick with Adidas here and their effort for Fulham. On the face of it, it's a very plain shirt, but my God, this whole composition is just wonderful. It screams Fulham in my opinion. The collar is wonderful, and with the black shoulder stripes and red body panels, it just ties the whole thing together. It's a very clean and very classy shirt. Another bad sponsor though. So close. And then in 16th place, I've got Millwall. This is the quote-unquote retro fusion Millwall kit made by Area, and I like it. They've taken elements from both the 91-92 and 92-93 kits to create a very solid shirt. The main design is a navy blue shirt with a white collar and cuffs, and white horizontal lines at the bottom. The navy elements of the shirt feature a sublimated diamond design, which I'm a big fan of. The sponsor doesn't look brilliant, but at least the colour matches, so there is that. Quite understated though, it's a very nice shirt. And then in 15th place, I've got Tranmere Rovers. Moving on to Tranmere Rovers now, and Mill's only English entry. And you know what? This reminds me of the Fulham shirt if you put on some steroids. Tranmere are celebrating their 140th anniversary with a white design that features a TRFC 140 sublimated pattern with a navy collar and cuffs. The shirt also features subtle orange and maroon accents as a nod to their look in the 19th century. Lovely stuff, really celebrating your 140th anniversary in style. Keep it up, lads. And in 14th place, I've got Sheffield United. Tradition meets future as we go back to Area and their Sheffield United shirt, which is inspired by their 90-92 home shirt, bringing it into the modern era. It takes the iconic red and white stripes with a thin black line between those white stripes. The red stripes feature a rose design throughout, which is a nod to the Yorkshire Rose. Not sure why it wasn't in the white elements though, you know, the white Yorkshire Rose, but we move. It's a very solid design other than that. And then in 13th place, I've got Sheffield Wednesday. We then pivot from one Sheffield side to the other as we look at Sheffield Wednesday and their shirt from Macron. It's the classic blue and white that we've seen adorn many a Wednesday shirt, but features some much thinner stripes than we normally see. Within those blue elements is this subtle zigzag design, which I'm a big fan of. All topped off with some yellow accent colours, it creates a very lovely looking, very cohesive shirt, the best of the 2 Sheffield kits. And in 12th place, I've got Bradford City. We stay with Macron and another Yorkshire-based club. Bradford, this is lovely. I can't imagine that's been said too much about the city, but this shirt is class. The shirt features the iconic claret and amber stripes, this time in a painted style, with some half-tone elements throughout. Within those claret stripes is a sublimated BC pattern, which looks lovely. The Macron and Bradford City logos are centralised within the middle stripe, and that's all topped off with some black accents that look really nice. I'm not a fan of the sponsor, but it's not a bedding sponsor, so that's some good news. It's also fairly local, so we can appreciate that as well. Up the gaffers. And in 11th place, I've got Grimsby Town. My word, Grimsby Town and Umbro have really cooked here. This is Grimsby's first shirt from the England-based manufacturer ever, and it's a very, very solid start. It was designed to have a distinctive retro 90s feel, which I feel is executed brilliantly. My only real gripe with the kit is the gap in the stripes for the sponsor. It just doesn't look right. The black and white colour scheme is wonderful, and the red accents really complete this lovely looking shirt. I think complete stripes will just elevate it a bit further, but unfortunately we can't get everything. So close to greatness once again. And in 10th place, I've got Brighton. This is Nike's latest Brighton offering, and it takes the traditional blue and white stripes you'd normally see from Brighton and adds a fading white pinstripe pattern within the blue stripes. I don't enjoy the fact the stripes have had a chunk taken out of them for the Amex sponsor. That's really something we've come to expect from a Brighton shirt. There's less yellow on this shirt than I'd like, but even then, it's still a very solid shirt from Nike. Stripes are hard to make interesting, but they've managed to do so while keeping it clean and classy. Bosh. And in 9th place, I've got Carlisle United. We're flipping back to Umbro and their design for Carlisle. Just wow. This kit is inspired by the kit worn during the 74-75 season, but updated and brought into the modern age. It features the classic Umbro sublimated diamond design throughout the kit. There is a secondary throwback crest in gold in the centre of the shirt alongside the club's current crest. The sponsor isn't brilliant overall, but doesn't really detract from the quality of the shirt itself. Very, very solid. And in 8th place, I've got Stoke City. Stoke and Macron have cooked. It features the famous white and red stripes combined with a black accent colour, which is also used by the logos. These logos are once again centralised within the central red stripe. These red stripes feature a sublimated bottle kiln icon, which I think looks lovely, and is also found on the back of the kit as well. I'm not a fan of the Bet365 sponsor, but at the very least, it is colour matched. This is a very solid shirt. Bet365 weren't on it, it'd be a lot higher, but they are. So, you know, hold that. And then in 7th place, I've got Liverpool. This is Nike's final kit for Liverpool, but it's really grown on me since originally ranking it. The main design of the shirt is the unique YNWA pattern that's featured across the shirt and that's been created to look like pinstripes. The red, yellow and white used on the collar is a very nice touch, but not really a fan of how they squared it off. Nike, why? What were you cooking with your collars? They are awful, but it's better than an asymmetrical one, so I'll give them that. And overall, very nice kit for Liverpool. Solid. And in 6th place, I've got Crystal Palace. Macron are back with Crystal Palace, and it's been a massive success here. The striking design of this shirt features Palace's eagle motif that creates impressive blue and red stripes. The almost paint-like application of the stripes really works in the shirt's favour, and that's all topped off with a blue, red and white collar and cuffs. The sponsor is terrible though, and does dock it points, but overall it's a very nice shirt, and low-key jealous that Macron are cooking when we're not with them. And then in 5th place, we've got Blackburn Rovers, and we continue with some Macron bangers, this time moving up north to Blackburn. It celebrates the 30th anniversary of the club's 94-95 Premier League triumph by taking some heavy inspiration from that shirt. It takes the club's famous blue and white half and half design and utilises a collar, again similar to the 94-95 shirt. The blue sections of the shirt include a rose/swirl design that really elements the base design that inspired it. It just looks phenomenal. It's not the best sponsor, but it's so much better than that vape sponsor they had. So kudos for that. And then in 4th place, I've got AFC Wimbledon. Going back down south now with Unro's effort for Wimbledon. And oh wow, this shirt. The kit draws inspiration from the 80s and 90s, back when Wimbledon FC were not only a thing, but also quite successful as well. The home shirt has a diamond pattern in different tones of blue, with the darker blue colours arranged in stripes. Most of the design elements are created from thin stripes themselves, which create a very striking design that I'm a fan of. The yellow cuffs and collar really tie in with the Umbro logo and yellow elements of the Wimbledon badge to create a very solid shirt. My god, you've cooked. And then in 3rd place, I've got Reading. Moving west and back to Macron with their Reading shirt. It's back to a somewhat normal kit for Reading, if they've gone for a more traditional shirt this time around. It utilises the classic blue and white hoops with some red detailing. One of the hoops is bigger than the rest, which is to fit the sponsor, but honestly, it works. The crown of the club crest is featured as an embossed pattern on the blue aspects of the kit that creates this really lovely, regal, classy feeling shirt. Big fan of that, and I think Macron have really smashed it. And in 2nd place, we have yet another Macron banger with West Bromwich Albion. Yes, Macron have absolutely cooked with this West Brom shirt, and it was so close to clinching that top spot. It features the traditional blue and white stripes of the baggies, with faint directional arrow patterns on the blue elements of the kit to create a very striking look. It also features a lovely retro style collar. The red accent colours really complete the look, and they don't look out of place. The sponsor is mostly colour matched, and that doesn't look out of place either. Boilerman should be proud. It is a wonderful kit. But in 1st place, topping the bag is Sunderland. Sunderland have claimed the top spot with this number from Hummel. The shirt features the team's classic red and white stripes with a spoke pattern inside the red stripes. This pattern takes the ship from their classic badge and lays them vertically throughout those red stripes. The shirt was inspired by Hummel's Sunderland kit from 88 to 91, even maintaining the same style of collar. This is a wonderful shirt. Hummel had no right to go this hard with Sunderland, and any kit following this will have its work cut out. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. They've cooked so hard with this shirt. But yeah, that was me ranking the 92 home kits of the EFL. Probably one of my longer videos, but if you have enjoyed, please do leave a like and subscribe down below. I'd massively appreciate that. No pressure, of course. I've been O2GT. That's been my thoughts on every home shirt from the EFL and the Premier League. Will I do away kits? Who knows? If there's enough demand, I will do. Hope you have enjoyed. Please leave your favourite kit and least favourite kit in the comments down below if you so wish. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.